Hello and welcome back to ZRZ. In this video we're going to be opening up the new Switch 2 Pro controller and comparing it side by side with the original Switch Pro controller to see all the upgrades and differences. So inside we do get a USB-A to USB-C cable, and then we have the controller itself. And there we have it. Wow, that feels really smooth actually in the hand. And this black and white color combination looks really cool, but overall it does keep that very similar look to the original Pro controller. Let's get them side by side and see the differences. So with the two controllers side by side, we can start taking a look at some of the differences. Straight away you can see the shell of the Switch 2 Pro controller is a much nicer, smooth design all around. It doesn't have this sort of see-through plastic and textured grip on there. It's just sort of one uniform feel, but in the hand this feels incredibly smooth, very nice. But I would say it's a little bit more slippery than the original Pro controller. This has slightly more grip, probably because of the texture at the bottom here, but I do like this. I think this just looks much more sleek and very smooth and comfortable in the hand. In terms of the button layout on the front, you can see it's more or less exactly the same, very familiar layout. Nothing really has changed except the addition of the C button at the bottom there. As you can see, that's for your chat, so you can access your chat easily on the Switch 2, and they've just put that right there at the bottom in the middle of the controller, so that's really nice and easy to access. Flipping over to the back of the controllers, this is where you'll see some more major changes here. Again, we've got this smooth black shell at the back, but we have the addition of the back buttons. I think this is a really important upgrade, and they don't really stick out too much, so even if you don't use them, they're not really in the way. But you've got the GR and the GL mappable back buttons here on the controller, so you can map them to any buttons. I think for a lot of games, having back buttons is a really nice feature. I use back buttons all the time on any of my controllers, so it's nice to have an official back button setup from Nintendo here on the Switch 2 controller. These do feel very soft. They're not overly clicky or tactile. They have a very similar feel to the way the triggers feel, but definitely not too kind of lightweight so that you'd accidentally press them. I think they feel pretty good overall. I think I would have liked for them to be a little bit more tactile, but overall it definitely has a very consistent feel around the controller. Taking a look at the top of the controllers, you can see some changes here. Of course, we've got this full white design on the shoulder buttons and the triggers. I quite like this. I think it looks really sleek with the rest of the smooth black shell. But also you can see the LED indicator has been moved to the front of the Switch 2 Pro controller above the USB-C and sync button on the front there. So that has been moved. On the original Switch controller, the LED indicator is at the bottom of the controller. I would say this is probably easier to see whilst you're using the controller at the bottom, so I'm not sure why they've moved it there, but I guess it probably made sense because of the other upgrade. The 3.5mm headphone jack moved to the bottom of the controller here, or added at the bottom of the controller here on the Switch 2 Pro controller. That was not a feature on the original one, and I think that is a must-have feature really. You know, similar to PS5 or Xbox controllers, having a headphone jack straight on the controller is so convenient. You can get your wireless audio and mic straight into the controller, very convenient, and I think is a must-have feature really. I think that's a good move by Nintendo. Now, a huge upgrade you would definitely feel rather than see on the Switch 2 Pro controller is these analog sticks. I mean, yes, they do have these white colored base, which I really like. It kind of matches the trigger area, which looks cool, but it's the feeling. These feel incredible. These feel very smooth, very consistent. They don't grind around the edges. They feel tight. They feel very good. Massive upgrade from the original Switch Pro controller. You can just tell by the way they sound, the way they feel when you kind of get to the edges. They're a little bit more grindy. There's more play when you press the buttons in on the analog sticks. This is a massive upgrade. They feel very smooth. I really like these. Probably one of the better feeling analog sticks in a while. But unfortunately, I don't think these are Hall effect sticks, so we don't know kind of the durability and kind of how well these will handle, you know, stick drift over the months and years of use. but from first impressions, these feel incredible. Almost worth it alone for the sticks. This upgrade is nice. Other than that, those are basically the upgrades. I mean, internally, the HD Rumble 2 has been upgraded, of course, in this controller, so your haptic feedbacks and rumble is going to be better on this controller. In terms of battery life, they are about the same. I think you can get up to like 40 hours on these controllers. Very, very good battery life. But the charging time has been reduced on the Switch 2 Pro controller. You can pretty much charge it to full in about 3.5 hours. So that's very good, the battery life. The controller itself is slightly sort of slimmer feeling and very slightly lighter than the Switch Pro controller, the original one. Particularly at the front of the controller, it felt a little bit top heavy on the original one, but the Switch 2 controller feels a little bit more balanced and just more comfortable and kind of less bulky in the hands. So that's basically it of this video, taking a look at the Switch 2 Pro controller and comparing with the original. Now from the outside, you know, it doesn't look like a huge amount has changed, but once you get hands-on with it, I think the way this Switch 2 Pro controller feels in the hand is really, really nice, and especially those analog sticks. That's really sold it for me. That feels amazing. Let me know if you're going to be picking up the new Pro controller for the Nintendo Switch 2, and leave a comment for what other Switch 2 content you want to see next. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.